Hey y'all, it's Jack Holloway again. I'm back with some album recommendations, and this time I'm giving you 10 albums that are great to work to. Now, when you're working, you need music that's not going to be distracting. So this normally means music that has singing in it. You don't want to be listening to your favorite songs while you're trying to get something done. You want to get something that is going to put you in the zone and empower you to be productive. And I've got some great albums that will do just that. The first place you want to go for that kind of album is minimalism. Minimalist music is great for working because it's not distracting. There's not a lot going on, and and it's also usually got like a good energy to it. And so I am going to start with four minimalist records that are great to work to. The first one, Terry Riley, A Rainbow in Curved Air. Look at this album cover. It is pretty hilarious. I mean, not the most attractive picture he could have blown up of himself to put in the sky, but it is the most attractive album he could blow up and put into the sky. This is um, on the vanguard of minimalism. This is one of the original classic minimalist records, A Rainbow in Curved Air, and it is just got, everything. It's got lots of overdubbing. Terry on the record, he plays electric organ, electric harpsichord, something called a roxichord, a dumbeck, and a tambourine. He plays everything, and he is clearly just the way that he's overlapping and building on these different sounds is very striking indeed, and also good to work to. Okay, number two, Philip Glass, Music in 12 Parts. This is only parts one and two. If you want to go the whole way, be my guest. It's Philip Glass. He goes the distance. He's a marathon runner for sure, but he's also totally brilliant. So it pays off. On the back of this record, on mine, it's got a statement from Philip Glass. This one came out in 1974, by the way. Terry Riley's came out in 1969. So again, we're in the early stages of minimalism here with Philip Glass and Terry Riley. But Glass on the back, he writes, "When it becomes apparent while listening to the record that nothing happens in the usual sense, then the listener can perhaps discover another mode of listening. It is hoped that one would be able to perceive the music as a presence, freed of dramatic structure, a pure medium of sound." Now that might sound kind of lofty or heady to you, but point being, freed of dramatic structure is not something you want in a song while you're working. You want something that's not going to be, it's not going to make demands on you while demands are being made on you for your work. So it's a great one for working, but it's also a masterpiece. So it's a twofer. Okay, number three, David Borden, Music for Amplified Keyboard Instruments. This came out in 1981. He was a follower of Terry Riley and Philip Glass. He first came to attention when he brought together Mother Mallard, which was the world's first all synthesizer ensemble. So that's kind of a big deal. And you can hear the fruits of his work with this amazing record that includes two of his pieces on the continuing story of Counterpoint, which was a major project of his. It's got great energy. I mean, this is a really peppy, labyrinth-like album, and it'll give you some energy and get you going. Okay, fourth and final minimalist record, Jordan De La Sierra. The record is Gymnosphere, Song of the Rose from 1977. He actually studied with Terry Riley. But this is a very different vibe. This is more mellow. It's calm. It's mysterious, and it's very ambient. Um, but man, is it beautiful! It is so moving, and it's got like a religious, almost a religious reverence to it. Listen to this. This is from this text that's in the album that I've got. De La Sierra transformed the 15-foot studio room while recording into an Eastern temple strewn with silks, gardenia flowers, bottles of essential oils, a few gemstones, and a small piece of gold. He defines Gymnosphere as a temple of aesthetic action. Temple of Aesthetic Action is actually the first piece on the record. But yeah, a temple of aesthetic action, an enclave of motion, equilibrium, and rest. The work features De La Sierra's epic sound of the space piano, meant to transport listeners from their earthly locale to a cosmic realm in the great spirit fields. If that doesn't make you want to listen to this record, I mean, I don't know. That, by the way, was written by Aaron Osman in the reissue of this record in 2014. So thanks to him for that. So those are my 4 minimalist recommendations. I also now have 4 intelligent dance music recommendations. IDM as opposed to EDM. Intelligent dance music, again, not super distracting, but it gets you pumped. It's got energy, it's got beats, it's stuff you'll be grooving to it while you're working. And I love working to these albums in particular. The Range, Nonfiction. Okay, The Range comes from electronic producer James Hinton. This album is super chill, and he's got hip hop and R&B influences, and it totally comes out in these just like great street sounds. He makes great use of samples. Yeah, this is a fun one. This is a fun one for sure. Okay, next one, Machine Drum, Vapor City. This is one of the greatest intelligent dance music albums of all time. It is so groovy. I mean, you turn this on and you are just bopping your head the whole time. Machine Drum is Travis Stewart, who is also a part of Sepultura, which is another great electronic music IDM group. But this one, man, super groovy. This is great bopping your head music. Okay, Floating Points. Floating Points is Sam Shepard, and fun fact, Sam Shepard is also a neuroscientist. He has a PhD. But in his spare time, I guess, I don't know what he considers job A, but in his spare time, he makes great dance music, great electronic music. And this one is a solid one for sure. It's cool, it's spacey, but it's also understated and more mellow than these other IDM records. So if there's something, it'd be better for like night working maybe. If you're working on something late at night and you need something that's also not loud, but still has like a good driving force to it. This would be a record for that. Also, his new record Crush is even better, but I don't own it yet, so I'm not showing you that one. But Floating Points also has another album called Crush, which you should check out. Okay, for the last intelligent dance music selections, Lone Reality Testing, another one of the best of all time in my opinion. Matt Cutler is the artist here. He comes from Nottingham, England, but this album sounds like Brooklyn. Comes from England, sounds like Brooklyn. It's one moniker I read said this is instrumental hip hop, which is absolutely a perfect description of it. If you like hip hop and you would imagine, well, what would be hip hop if it was instrumental? It would sound like this. It's super chill. It's upbeat. Something you would skate to if you were a skater. Man, this is a fave for sure. Okay, and then finally, I'm going to give you 2 just classic masterpiece records that you can listen to while you work. The first one, Aphex Twins, uh, Selected Ambient Works Volume 2. Richard David James is the electronic producer here. He was a huge, I mean, Aphex Twin, if you know anything about them, they're a huge trendsetter in electronic and ambient music, especially when this came out in the 90s. Um, this album is a tour de force. You know, I mean, it went to areas that music had not gone before. And clocking in at 2 hours and 36 minutes, this 3 LP masterpiece is great for when you need something mellow and, again, not distracting, but also groovy. And man, is it good from start to finish. Okay, and then finally, Radiohead, In Rainbows. They had already made some of the greatest albums of all time. And in the 2000s, they decided apparently that it was just not enough, that they needed to make a top tenner. They needed to get themselves into the top 10 albums of music history, and they did it, man, with In Rainbows. And I do think it's a good album to work to, because it's got, you know, every song has a good running beat, you know, like a good charge to it. I mean, maybe not every song, but like you get like a nice rhythm to each experience. And it's got energy, it's cool, you know, it's inspiring, it's Radiohead. And then Tom York's voice is not a particularly distracting voice, because he, you know, he uses his voice almost like a synthesizer or a theremin, you know, he uses it like an instrument. So you don't get distracted by catchy words or phrases or anything. It's just, you know, great music, and I think it makes for a really wonderful work album. So those are my work albums. I do also have a work playlist on Spotify that is 26 hours long. So if you want something more, you know, or if you want something immediate that you just go, yeah, fine, I don't care, just give it to me. Down in the description, you'll find the link to my Spotify playlist, as well as the links to the information for these albums. So thanks for tuning in, and let me know what you think of the albums.